Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another NIKKE reaction. Today we have Archemy as requested by J Delgin in the comments of the last video, and J Delgin back again with another request that quite a few people want me to listen to, and this is another Feryquitous song, so that's always fun to see. I love that there's more Feryquitous in this game than I ever would have anticipated. I didn't know he was this involved with the game, but I'm definitely here for it, and I'm excited to hear another song, so without further ado, let's go! Okay, that's not where I thought the progression was gonna go. I was expecting something a little bit brighter, but it was kind of more of like a down jazz. Ooh. The drums in this are really cool too. Lots of movement, very musical. Love that use of the drums. Great kit. Ooh, is there like a vocoding on the vocalist too? It's like super tight harmony work in there. It's subtle. Oh, that's really neat. That's a cool texture. Did I hear a talking drum in there? I heard bongos, but I heard that whip of like a talking drum. Also, pristine drum kit panning as well. I mean, the mix overall is great, but the kit is super wide and super present. Yeah. Oop, there's those vocals again. Okay, they're gone again. There they are. Oh, that's so neat. It's almost like what they do for Archemy, just more subtle. Again, super musical with the drums. It's not just the backbeat, it's using the toms as like part of the melody, the structure of the sound, not just the rhythm. This is taking a really cool direction. Again, that vocal processing, whatever that is so clean. Just kicks in so well. I can feel like the jazziness in the piano. A little bit more of a melancholic feel with the strings there. But I think it's odd that I can't place what the emotion that this song is portraying is. Usually I can tell. I'm gonna have to read the lyrics for this one. I think it's, for once, too difficult for me to actually be able to tell just from the music alone what the song is trying to tell me. Usually I can figure that out. It's just not coming to me with this one. I'm gonna need the lyrics to help me out a little bit. All right, so the lyrics were a little bit weird to figure out because the only translation I could find was just using the translation built into the browser, and it was a Japanese copy of the lyrics, so it's gonna be a little bit shaky maybe, but the overall themes to be stagnation, probably similar to the image here, being stuck in a room, not really able to do much, and kind of wishing for more in that way. Obviously, I can't get the full context and trust the auto-translate of a browser to really understand what's going on there, so I'm not going to, but that does fit with the song and why I couldn't place what the emotion is supposed to be. The song itself is kind of stuck, you know? Like, there's movement happening. Obviously, the drums were moving around. It was very musical. It was generally very motative. It had a lot of stuff, especially in the percussion, the bongos in there, and that was definitely talking drums. Very cool inclusion having those in there. It was subtle, very subtle. A lot of the detail work Feryquitous throws in is usually pretty subtle, and this is definitely no different. And in a way, that's cool because it like juxtaposes the feeling of the song and in the lyrics, so it almost feels like her brain is wanting to do something but she knows she can't, so she's like portraying that in the lyrics. So she's kind of just like, I'm stuck here, but like the world is moving around her is almost what the song is starting to feel like with that context in place. And I like that a lot since this was such a movement heavy track. Everything in here was moving. These strings were going all over the place. The piano part being very jazzy. There was just a lot going on, and all of them had their pieces and parts, but none of them seemed to line up too much, except for maybe like the vocals in there and having that like extra layer of, again, just more texture, having things like that clashing against the vocalist in order to show even more that there's just something deeper in here. There is some unrest happening in the message of this song that even the vocals themselves aren't perfectly aligned. I mean, don't get me wrong, it definitely sounds good, like it is what it is, and it does have that effect on the song, but what I mean for that is it is still something that is, you know, adding some tension, just mild tension against there, even though it is largely, I think, thirds and sevenths in there, kind of making this crunchy feeling, which is kind of what those do in music anyway, especially for harmony's sakes. That's the point. It kind of adds a little bit of dissonance in there, and having that tightened down with the vocoder, which basically takes all of that idea and compresses it even deeper. It takes like multiple octaves of that relationship in music and shoves them all into one, so it sounds busy, it sounds a little bit hectic, and that's probably something that's supposed to reflect the character's mood, and that works really well. So I just love the general approach to this song. Everything in it was mixed phenomenally well, like breathtakingly well, but I don't expect anything different from Feryquitous. I also just loved having the drums so far forward in the mix, being present with the rest of the melodic stuff, because they were being used more in a melodic way with this, and that's something that so many people forget that drums can be, which is melodic. You can definitely utilize them in that way and add them to the main beef of the song, and when you do that, making sure that they're up there with everything else in the mix and being very present. Obviously, they're going to be maybe a little bit too present at times because they're drums, they're huge, they're resonant, they've got this presence to them that you really can't fight against. That's why a lot of people tend to push them back in the mix, because that's where it tends to land for a lot of people, especially visually. You think of a band layout, the drums are in the back, so you kind of just naturally go that direction. But when you want to make them part of the melody, you want them up in front, you need to make sure that that reflects that in the mix, and they did that here. Feryquitous did a great job at presenting everything that needed to be up in front and center as such, and it's just a very overall beautiful song. I think the vocalist did a phenomenal job. She had a fantastic voice. She had such a beautiful tone to her. It fit beautifully with the rest of the song there. It like just nestled itself in. A part of that can definitely be credited to Feryquitous for doing the processing on this song and just making sure everything fits together and is all glued nicely. And it's like, sure, but you have to have a great performance in order to have a great mix. Otherwise, you're going to be trying to hide stuff, and you can tell he didn't have to with this one. Her voice was beautifully up front. It was very centered with everything else, and it just had this presence and softness to it that added to that, in hindsight that I'm realizing with the lyrics, kind of adds to that like melancholic feeling of kind of being alone and not knowing what to do with your time now. It almost feels slightly lonely, but a stagnant is definitely a better word for that, and her voice fits beautifully with that emotion, which makes me wonder how much the vocalist was actually coached into that direction. Maybe that was the whole point, and they were like, hey, we want to get this specific vibe from the song, maybe sing it like this or think of this moment. moment. Direction is always important, even in music. So you have to make sure that your performers understand what you want if you're trying to direct something like that and making the best of the project. And they just did a really good job. I have not really much else to say. It's just a phenomenal track. I would give this one like a straight up 9 out of 10, if not perfect. This is so good that I really don't have any issues that I can bring up. It's all good stuff. So I will call it there. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to get to something else from NIKKE, by all means, drop in the comments below. And for those of you still around, I will be starting my playthrough of NIKKE for like this month. I'll be focusing on it, doing at least one stream a week for the rest of the month. So if you want to watch me play NIKKE, you can do that. The VODs will be up, so don't worry if you can't watch it live. It'll be there, and just experience with me my frustrations and confusions, as I always have with games, because I'm bad at gaming, and I'm okay with that, but I definitely vocalize my problems when I have them, because I struggle bus like fucking crazy. But that's beside the point. I will be doing that, so if you want to watch it, you can, or if you just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!